The Windsor Spitfires are rolling after a successful trip to the north this past weekend, winning all 3 of their games and taking top spot in the OHL's Western Conference. Windsor Spitfires forward Will Cooley got the Spits going in the first period, scoring just 47 seconds into the first period, followed by Dan D'Amico's natural hat trick in the first period, scoring 3 successive goals before the end of the opening frame. And he would not be done there. D'Amico added his 4th goal of the game at 17:36 of the second period before scoring his 5th goal of the game with just over a minute to go in the third. Will Cooley also added 2 more goals in the game to give the Windsor Spitfires 2 players with a hat trick for the first time in over a decade. Wyatt Johnston and Igor Afanasiev scored as well to round out the scoring in a 10-4 victory over the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds. Windsor would then go on to battle the Sudbury Wolves the next night up in Sudbury. Russian Igor Afanasiev opened the scoring at 4:24 of the first period, but was tied after 1 period with Sudbury 1-1. Windsor then exploded for 2 goals in the second period with goals from Kyle McDonald and Luke Boca, and that would be the game. Windsor wins 3-2 over Sudbury after a late push from the Wolves. Windsor capped off their northern road trip with a game against the North Bay Battalion on Sunday afternoon and ended up picking up the 3-2 victory in overtime. Luke Boca scored to open the scoring at 10:46 of the first period, but was quickly countered by Mankata of North Bay. After 3 periods of play, the teams were tied, and it didn't take long for Windsor to win the game with a Jean-Luc Foudy goal at 1:45 of the overtime period, finishing off a 2-0 feed with Dan D'Amico. Windsor outshot North Bay 46-17, but needed overtime to win their 5th straight game. Thanks to their 5-game winning streak, the Windsor Spitfires now hold top spot in the OHL's Western Conference. Registered dietitian in the Windsor-Essex area, Andrea Docherty. And Andrea, we're here to talk about the importance of sleep for athletes. So how underestimated is the amount of sleep that athletes need to get in today's world? Because obviously some people don't take it very, very seriously.
Yeah, I would say sometimes it's one that's overlooked. So oftentimes, we're putting a lot of effort into your training sessions and getting stronger. But just as important it is to train well, we also need to have that rest and recovery.
Recovery is the key word there, right?
Yeah, so there's other things that are going to help with recovery, like proper nutrition, stretching, hydration, but sleep is just one of them. It is really important. So there are certain sleep recommendations, how many hours people should get per night. Adolescents is 8 to 10 hours, adults 7 to 9 hours, and some studies actually show that athletes who are really participating in heavy training and physical activity may need 10 to 12 hours per night.
Wow.
So the reason it's so important is because when we're sleeping, a lot of recovery of our muscles happens. So to really get that proper recovery to our muscles so they can repair, and also to really adapt to your training, you want to be getting enough sleep. If we're sleep deprived, that can also affect how glycogen repletion happens, which is basically how the carbs that we eat get stored back into our muscles, which is really important for training.
Well, it makes sense if you say they need an 8-hour cycle to go through that glycogen process you were speaking about. If you cut that in half, you only get 4 hours of sleep. It's simple math. You're just not getting enough of that repletion.
Yeah, so it can affect your performance in training. It can also affect just your energy levels. You may not have enough energy to get through training.
This week's TSS Spotlight is shining on the Hockey for Hospice tournament, which takes place every year for the past 24 years. This year, they were proud and honored to announce more than $370,000 were raised by nearly 2,000 young hockey players from across our region. Over the past 24 years, Hockey for Hospice teams have raised nearly $3.7 million for those in our community. Congratulations to the Hockey for Hospice tournament organizers for all of their hard work over the past 24 years, and here is to your TSS Spotlight. Very well deserved.